The Piece of String by Guy de Maupassant.
It was a market day, and from all the country round Goderville, the peasants and their wives were coming toward the town. The horns of cattle, the high hats of wealthy merchants and women came to the surface of that sea. Cattle and other animals also filled up space, and different sounds, like the loud voices, burst of laughter, and sounds from cows made a continuous mixture of noises. Mr. Oshkorn had just arrived at Goderville and was making his way toward the square when he saw a little piece of string on the ground. Mr. Oshkorn, who was a very economical man, thought that everything was worth picking up. So he stooped down and took the thin string from the ground. He was carefully preparing to roll it up when he saw Mr. Maladain, the harness maker, staring at him in front of his store. They had once fought, and they had not been on good terms ever since. Mr. Oshkorn was overcome with a sort of shame at being seen by his enemy picking up a bit of string on the road. He quickly hid it in his pocket, then pretended to be looking for something on the ground, and finally went off toward the marketplace. The clock struck 12, and people at the marketplace went into the diners to have lunch. Suddenly, a loud drumbeat came from the courtyard, and everyone was on their feet at once and ran to the door and to the windows. All of a sudden, a man came into the diner and announced, "A wallet was lost this morning on the Buzzville Road. When you find it, you are to return it to the mayor's office at once, or to Mr. Fortune Ulbrecht. There will be a 20 francs reward." The man left, and the people began to talk of this incident. The meal went on. They were finishing their coffee when the corporal of the police force appeared at the door. The corporal asked if Mr. Oshkorn was there. Mr. Oshkorn answered and was asked to follow the corporal. The mayor was waiting for him, seated in a chair. "Mr. Oshkorn," he said, "this morning on the Buzzville Road, you were seen picking up the wallet Mr. Ulbrecht had lost." The old man looked at the mayor, frightened already at this suspicion which rested on him. I picked up that wallet?" "Yes, you." "I swear I don't even know anything about it." "You were seen." "I was seen? I? Who saw me?" "Mr. Maladain, the harness maker." Then Mr. Oshkorn remembered and understood. Reddening with anger, he said, "Ah, he saw me, did he? He saw me picking up this string here, Mayor." He put his hand in his pocket and pulled out the string. But the mayor shook his head, not believing him. "You will not make me believe that Mr. Maladain, who is a man whose word can be relied on, has mistaken this string for a wallet?" Mr. Oshkorn became furious. "It is the truth, I swear. How can he tell such lies about an honest man?" He protested, but the mayor did not believe him. He was confronted with Mr. Maladain, who repeated and sustained his testimony. They railed at one another for an hour. At his own request, Mr. Oshkorn was searched. Nothing was found on him. At last, the mayor sent Mr. Oshkorn away, telling him that he would call him again for further questioning. The news had spread. When he left the mayor's office, the old man was surrounded by people who wanted to know the truth. Some were genuinely curious, while others asked just to gossip. And he began to tell the story of the string. They did not believe him. They laughed. But he went on, showing his pockets turned inside out to prove that he had nothing in them. The next day, about 1 in the afternoon, a farmer returned the wallet and its contents to Mr. Ulbrich. This man said, indeed, that he had found it on the road, but not knowing how to read, he had carried it home and given it to his master. Mr. Oshkorn was informed. He felt like he had finally proven his innocence. What bothered me the most was being accused of lying. Nothing does you so much harm as being in disgrace for lying. Mr. Oshkorn talked of his adventure whenever he saw someone. He told it on the roads to the people who passed by. He even stopped strangers to tell them about it. People were in a joking manner while they listened. They did not seem convinced. He seemed to feel their remarks behind his back. A week later, he went to the diner. A horse dealer shouted at him, "Get out! Get out, you old thief! I know all about your old string." Mr. Oshkorn stammered, "But they found it again, the wallet." But the other continued, "Hold your tongue. There's one who finds it, and there's another who returns it." The old man was speechless. He understood at last. They accused him of having had the wallet brought back by a partner in crime. He tried to protest, but the whole table began to laugh. He could not finish his dinner and went away while others cheered about his absence. He went home feeling insulted. He felt that it was impossible to prove his innocence. Even after many years had passed, stories about how he lied about the wallet lingered. On his deathbed, Mr. Oshkorn whispered as he stretched out his shaking weak hands, "A little bit of string. A little bit of string. See, here it is, Mayor."